something like that.
Good day and welcome once again. Let's talk in Venture Capital TV. My name is Javier. I'll be your host for today. And as usual, we have two of the greatest panelists today with us, Gary and Srikanth. Very welcome. And before we move on, I would like if you can, each of you can introduce yourself briefly, your background, your abilities, and yeah, let's go ahead. Gary, would you like to start?
Yeah, sure. Great to be here. My name's Gary Fowler. I'm a serial entrepreneur and investor. I've been involved in 17 startups and 2 unicorns. I was on the original management team at Click Software, which was sold to Salesforce for 1.35 billion, and also Yva.ai, an AI HR tech company that I co-founded with Dr. David Yang. We believe that intellectual capacity is evenly spread around the world and opportunities are not. I'm the CEO, president, and co-founder of GSD Get Shit Done Venture Studios, a premier AI and quantum venture studio located in the heart of Silicon Valley. We help companies go global. We are venture builders, and literally across the board, sales, marketing, business development, etc. We help them from our accelerator all the way to our venture studio. So thanks a lot. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Gary. And Srikanth, would you like to go ahead, please?
Sorry. Hi, great to share a panel with Gary once again on this particular topic. I'm Dr. Srikanth Parthasarathy, and I would be giving a little bit more about my legal advice / strategy in this particular area. Just to give you a quick rundown of what I am and where I am. I am a legal counsel, and I advise family offices and metaverse and anything quite disruptive is quite challenging for family offices which are situated particularly in Southeast Asia and particularly India. And I represent the Fortune 500 of India, and I am more than happy to share my thoughts in terms of uh, what startups could do, especially in this particular area, because of the fact that I come across a lot of legal opinions that are being shared by these Forbes 500, who ask me as to evaluate whether this is something which is worth investing. I have been managing close to about 300 million in investment, and my family offices are typically $1 billion plus.
Thank you very much, Srikanth, for that introduction. Now, today we have a very interesting topic, investing in the next generations of games and metaverse. As you know, metaverse and games are they quite belong to each other, especially nowadays. And why is this important or relevant? Just to give you an idea, yesterday came an article in benzinga.com where it stated that Goldman Sachs analyst Eric Sheridan predicts that the metaverse could be an 8 trillion opportunity, with companies, of course, like Meta, Google, and Microsoft have already started investing. Microsoft made an acquisition of Activision for $69 billion, which makes it the largest deal to date. So obviously you do have a very huge market. Everybody's jumping at it. And just to give a little idea about this, if you allow me to share my screen, in which I'm going to give you a very interesting graphic. I hope you can see it. That graphic shows the leap of the metaverse. It is made by Morgan Stanley, November 2021. And I'm going to quote, "The chart shows the speed at which mentions of select technology themes in global company transcripts reach peak interest." Okay, so that's basically says that which of these, you can see down here, was the metaverse, esports, virtual reality, or 5G, which of these topics have spiked? And you can see metaverse being the red one, how much increase it has since the first quarter of 20. So that a little bit shows how much are how much is being paid attention to this specific topic. Gary, what do you think? Why is this? What kind of investing can you do in games in the metaverse at the moment?
Well, I mean, the situation is, if you look at it, the challenges today is that our world is becoming this hybrid world, right? And so one of the companies that we have that's that is funded by I'd say ultra high net worth individuals is really, this intersection between our real life uh, tokenization and gaming, and then this AR XR, AR VR XR new reality. I mean, it's just the pieces are coming together. You got NFTs, you got blockchain, you got the metaverse, and in my opinion, it just is just the natural extension. The thing is, it's not all about games but games are becoming more real, right? What is real, what's not. At the same time, one of the projects we're working on is really the tokenization of goodness, right? Empathy, compassion. How can we really breed some of these into the games so that we do the right thing instead of killing people in the games, which were, when you talk about, I was a psychologist, am a psychologist, but we talk about vicarious learning. I mean, let's talk about some of the good things we can bring and how we can bring people together, how we can go down through and solve problems and not create problems in the metaverse. And so the companies that are forward thinking and look at it are doing the right things because our world has been, look at where we are now. StreamYard was founded in 2018. Here we are, right? Look at our backgrounds that we have here today. So we already started entering the metaverse. The thing is, how can we make it real? How can we buy real estate? How can we buy products and services? How can we tokenize it? That's where it starts to become fascinating, interesting. And at the same time, it really democratizes the opportunity around the world. Each person will be able to participate in this. And what we have to do is you see things like Starlink going up, or they're spreading access to media all over the world. It's not if, it's when it's going to happen. And has it started? Absolutely. But there's some warning signs. Look at Facebook and Meta recently in terms of what did they lose? 12 or 20% in terms of value. So people are cautiously optimistic. The one thing I can tell you is it's here to stay. But whenever there's a new market that's coming out, there's going to be winners and there'll be losers. And it doesn't mean that the companies that have won in the past are going to be the winners today.
Thank you, Gary, for that insight. Srikanth, now if somebody would come and would like to decide to invest, whether it's games or metaverse, do you think that they take it seriously, or they just think it's simply a fade and it's going to go away? So I think you are muted.
I must agree that we were not taking it seriously for quite some time. And look at the Gartner report. In 2025, which is 25% of the population, is going to be on Metaverse. And that is a study which was released by Gartner.
How
It
much was
said
that? 25%?
25% of the
Wow.
world is going to be on Metaverse. And they're not going to be on Metaverse for just exploring. They're going to be in Metaverse for a substantial amount of time, which is ranging from 1 to 3 hours a day. And when we piece that together, or when we read that together with the fact that games as such, addressing the psychologist in Gary, games were about fun, and games are about fun, and games are about killing your pastime. But metaverse is actually the contrary of that. It's about the alternate universe. It's about the alternate reality that they could set. And the line between gaming and metaverse is blurring so much, to the extent that games, which was considered to be a fun activity, is now transforming into a metaverse, which is going to be a real activity, which is going to happen in a virtual world. So, from an investment perspective, I believe games are a separate category on its own. The gaming industry has its own ways of expansion, and look at the gaming industry. They're growing phenomenally, and so on and so forth. But what Metaverse does is it adds on a layer to the gaming, and it says that look, you need not game for fun alone, and you can actually be in a reality. And that's a fantastic proposition, or a fantastic value addition, or a fantastic, um, I would say, a hierarchical build into the gaming universe, to say that we have a metaverse where you could explore freely, and you could explore things which could happen in the metaverse, and so on and so forth. I believe gaming in metaverse is going to be such a interesting proposition, because a person who gets into metaverse and starts gaming over there, probably goes to a casino which was being built by someone, and starts gaming over there. Imagine the possibilities of gaming within metaverse. That's a larger reality that could happen, in my
And
opinion, at least.
there has been already publications, and if it's accurate, what I read in Decentraland, Atari, the one that probably when we were children, we were playing with that with the console Atari, that has purchased land in Decentraland in order to make the casino, and Atari already has their own token. So it's actually very interesting. You said it's blurring. I remember when I was a child and I would spend hours in front of the computer, and my parents would tell me, "You're wasting your time. Don't waste your time." Now you can actually invest your time because you have GameFi, right? Where you can actually play the games and actually get a return. So it's actually completely has everything has changed in order how we used to perceive the gaming sector. And actually, really, in what I was reading in investments in the metaverse and gaming is actually by seizing the moment. And they put like three key reasons why they think that there will be a mass adoption in regards to these two things. First, because we're already going to have a next generation of hardware. Second, COVID accelerated the shift to digital lives. And third, cryptocurrencies can allow the transactions to take place immediately. So I think those three things have pushed us to go to a metaverse playing and working. Um, Gary, do you agree with that?
Yeah, I mean, the thing is think about this, Javier. We look at Epic and Fortnite. They completely transform virtual games, and they've created this realistic virtual world, and among the game's initiatives, they've actually, within the metaverse, have been concerts. Ariana Grande, Travis Scott have done concerts. I mean, it's not like we're talking about something in the future. It's here. But the way that people work, pandemic has been a biggest test for the corporate world. We've had to shift to going online. We've had to shift to StreamYard and Zoom and other technologies because we need to collaborate. Distances don't matter. Look at where you are today, Srikanth in India. I don't even know where you are today, Javier. I don't know what country. In Spain. You could be in Israel. You could be in Silicon Valley. But it doesn't really matter. Borders have gone away. Time is the only difference because, in India, it's probably late at night and Srikanth's getting ready to go to bed. But we've completely transformed. Now, if we look at it, the COVID has made a shift forward. Before the pandemic, McKinsey said that 90% of the company were going to go through the digital transformation next 10 years, but they had to do it very quickly or they were going to go out of business. Thank God we've had technologies like Zoom and Skype and StreamYard because we were able to do business online and completely not be crippled for a couple of years. But then we look at the future of commerce. The future of commerce, consumers are no longer need to frequent stores to look at products. They'll be able to test those stores, having VR and AR experiences to explore brands and the offerings. On the other hand, interactive store experiences where you can walk in that store, see things, touch things, and order within the store. Now imagine those possibilities. But those possibilities are here today. And this is not fiction. Snapchat already has taken us into the world of the metaverse without us even realizing it. they use customized filters, to be able to connect brands with consumers, to be able to show that people are much more likely to use a product if they use the interactive content. The future is already here. We just don't realize it. So I'm excited about it. It's not just a buzzword. It's really a myriad of trends that's helping us in the tech world. It's a myriad of trends that's helping us to be able to connect together. And again, I say democratizing the opportunity because we need to treat each other a lot better, and we need to be connected so we feel each other, where we're coming from, how we can work together, and more importantly, how we can be able to make this planet a better place.
Definitely think we're going to have a lot of opportunities open for that when the metaverse comes, connecting everywhere, people from all over the place. That's not only work, but socially as well. As you mentioned, the concerts, for example. I think there's a huge opportunity there. Srikanth, let's say I was been also reading about the different kinds of way you can currently invest in the metaverse and games. For example, you have exchange traded funds. Right now, there's one called Round Hill Bull Metaverse ETF. You can actually invest in that, and they'll be investing on your behalf. You have the virtual land, of course, and then you have cryptocurrencies, which like Mana, that belong to the central land, and therefore you would be investing in the meta universe. Now, Srikanth, do you expect, like in 5 years from now, that your professional advisor or whoever you use for investments will start pushing and offering these kind of games and metaverse opportunities for investments?
Could you repeat that question, Javier? I believe I had a bit of a connection trouble.
Okay. Do you think that in 5 years from now, your professional advisor for investments would actually offer you these type of metaverse and games investment opportunities?
I don't even think I would travel that far to actually advise someone to invest in metaverse. I believe it is happening right now. We don't have to go that far. I believe the buzzword last year was NFTs and bitcoins and so on and so forth, but it had its own set of perils, so to speak. But in metaverse, what is happening is the conversation is becoming more and more real, which is a very paradoxical statement because we are talking about real things in metaverse, and it is a fantastic opportunity for any investor to establish the very fact that you can establish your own playground or your own territory in metaverse, which could allow you to game at the same time allow you to do multiple other things. So the way I see it is from a hierarchical perspective. I see the metaverse to be at the top of the food chain, and you have games and other aspects built into metaverse. So I believe the idea of selling a metaverse to an investor is a lot more easier as compared to selling a game to a user, which is going to be far more nuanced in terms of whether you will attract the number of downloads, and you will attract the number of players, and whether the player engagement is interactive and so on and so forth. I believe these questions will be inherently answered in metaverse, wouldn't they?
Yeah, definitely. They would do. I receive links, very interested in links that we have been sharing. One of them is the future of work and society in the metaverse, Gary, that you wrote for Forbes.
Yeah. Yep. I've written a couple articles in the metaverse, and I wrote these articles before Meta was Meta. So, I mean, they took a while to get published, but I've written several articles because I've talked about this for some time, probably a year and a half, actually.
Okay, perfect, fantastic. I think maybe we can even make it a discussion for our next panel discussion, the future of work and society in the metaverse. Sounds interesting. Yeah, sure. I recommend it. Gentlemen, thank you much for your time. Do you have any final words for our audience today?
Yeah, I have some final words. I mean, the situation is, tomorrow is today. Don't say tomorrow never comes. If you're going to go out and you want to have a successful company, whether you're a Fortune 500 or a startup, go out and explore. Don't be afraid. Look at where those opportunities can lie. We are going to be connected together. Web 3.0, the connections that we're going to have, the decentralization, and yet the connections of our lives. So go out there, look at AR, VR, XR technologies. Look at what's happening now with companies like Snapchat. Look at how our lives have been affected with COVID in a positive way. We've become, on one side, we were far apart, and today we're a lot closer together. But it's only going to get better. Look at those opportunities today. You can reach me, Gary Fowler, on LinkedIn. Actually, today I'm going to be doing a show with David Yang, who's a billionaire AI guru, who's actually a partner of mine in a company. And we're going to talk about work and the great resignation today. So if we get a chance to tune in, it'll be happening this afternoon in GSD.
Perfect. Thank you, Gary. Srikanth, would you like to say something?
I would say that the investors of today are, I mean, the people who are building aspects in metaverse. I believe they have a more of a supply problem rather than a demand problem. I seriously believe that the demand is always going to be there. It is more of a supply in terms of whether when you are a startup, whether you're able to build the appropriate conducive environment for a person who is trying to access metaverse. And in that particular regard, I believe the differentiation for a startup would lie in the fact that how conducive are they in a metaverse reality, and why would I choose a metaverse reality of a particular startup versus a metaverse reality of another startup. So I believe that particular reality experience and the level of reality that we could get to is something that I would strongly suggest. For example, if I may draw an analogy, these are not closing thoughts, but this is something that we could have discussed. But if you think about it, there was this particular game called Flight Simulator, and the Flight Simulator, which was produced by Microsoft, it went more and more detailed to the extent that I could actually see the level of detail from flying and from the perspective of what are the structures that are below me when I'm flying. And imagine that as a template for startups to actually build out a reality which is so conducive that I really want to be in this particular reality, which is giving me a lot more a pleasure than I would by seeking any other, I would say, alternate remedies in pharmacological or any other perspective.
Thank you very much, Shrikant, for that insight. Yeah, and I totally agree with you. Actually, I think the demand is much bigger than the supply. Might change as we see the big names jumping in. There was an article, I don't know, it mentioned that BlackRock is looking into offer these kind of investment opportunities as well. Once BlackRock is in, everybody will follow, as we all know. Well, that was it for today. Gary, Shrikant, once again, thank you very much for participating. To our viewers, thank you for your time, and we'll see you in the next show. Until that, take care and stay safe. Thank you very much.
Bye-bye, everybody. Take care.